Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy Hockey. I am Owen. I'm joined alongside Antonio, and we're going to be teaching you the basics of fantasy hockey. We work at Fantasy Hockey Pucks. We're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you want to find hockey information, wherever you can find hockey information, we will be there. We even have our own website, and we really are just the best source of fantasy hockey info out there. If not just if you want to, make cool fancy videos to get views. No, to actually make good decisions for your fantasy team, dropping the right players, picking up the right sleepers, even making the right trades. You can DM us, ask us if you what you want to do with your team, who you should start, who you should bench, and loads of other things. We're super interactive. We try and reach out to as many people as possible. And right now, we're going to be trying to teach you guys how to set up a league.
Definitely. I think our biggest selling point is we are here to win you leagues. So let's get into first, we'll look at Yahoo and how you would go about setting up that league, and then we'll move on to ESPN later in the video. So stick around for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me share my screen really quickly here. Starting with Yahoo, we have league name, obviously best ever, because if you listen to us, you're going to win your league. So you're automatically best ever. We always go head-to-head points, but you can always go categories as well, weekly points, but we just like head-to-head points generally. Okay.
Oh, and also when you're setting the time of your draft, I'm pretty sure that's what you're about to do.
Definitely.
You got to pay attention to that. Yeah.
Yeah, because in this one here, and when I highlight this, it says Pacific time there, PST. So you want to make sure that it corresponds with your time zone. And so we're Eastern time here. So we got to make sure that's the 3-hour difference that we account for that. And so if we go into customize settings, here we can find, okay, how many team playoffs do we want? We'll just go 6, the default. Tiebreaker, higher seed wins. I like to do best regular season record versus opponent because that's just my personal preference. Playoff reseeding, yes. Maximum teams. For Yahoo, it's actually different than ESPN. It says max teams, which means like if 10 teams join, then it will go with a 10-team league. But you can have up to this amount of teams joining. But we like to keep it at around 10 to 12, somewhere in there. That's a manageable amount of people that we want to have in our league so it doesn't get too crazy and it's not too small. Draft time per pick, it's generally between 45 seconds and a minute 15. I haven't seen it gone too much like higher than that because then drafts end up being 2 hours sometimes. But we definitely like keeping them nice and short, maybe 1 hour draft. That keeps us between the 45-second and 1 minute mark. Acquisitions per season, no maximum. That's just people picking up off the waiver wire like we were talking about before. All of these that we just generally keep on the default. The big ones you just need to know about are if you want to change the amount of waiver ads you have per week, like I just said, your waiver mode, right? And then also your trade deadline, which is your trade end date here, which is just generally March 9th, but a lot of this stuff is already set for you. And the last thing that you want to talk about is probably vetoing trades. That's trade here, and whether you want it to go to a league vote or the commissioner just saying it. Generally, we just do league vote because sometimes commissioners with all that power can become a little bit too powerful. However, once you've done all these settings and you've looked through and you're like very happy with it, let me just send this back to standard. Once you finish all that, then you can get into inviting your friends into the league. So with this, it will give you a link here. You copy it. You can email them, use whatever social media you want. And then once they join, they're going to pop up here. And when you have all the teams, they'll be filled up all these boxes and you'll get to your draft. Right. And back over to ESPN, same thing, best ever, because if you listen to us, you're the best ever. Important to note with setting the number of teams, ESPN won't actually let you draft if you don't have the exact amount of teams that you've put, unlike Yahoo. Again, we'll go head-to-head points. Categories is a very popular one as well. And we'll go create league. This one, it will come up like this, invite via email. And then you're free to copy this link and share it on social media, however you want. All right, that's going to be everything for this episode. A big thing that we want to cover just before we finish is actually the scoring for your league. So very quickly, if you're the commissioner, you go to LM tools here on ESPN. We'll just do it on one because it's quite a lot to go through. All right, so you're going to go to this one here. It's edit scoring settings. That's going to edit what goals count for, everything. We generally like doing goals are set to 3, assists are set to 2, penalty minutes are negative 0.5 per penalty minute, which means that if they have a penalty, like a 2-minute minor, that's going to be -1 points. For power play points, we do an extra 1. For shorthanded points, we do an extra 2. For game-winning goals, we don't actually do anything. That tends to be a little bit too much. For hat tricks, we had 3. For shots on goal, again, 0.1. For hits, we do 0.25. Block shots is 0.5. Defenseman's point is optional. We don't generally tend to do that, especially when we do these bangos leagues. That's what this whole hits and blocks is. We call that bangos. But when you do that, defensemen tend to equal out because they're the ones blocking the shots and getting all the hits.
So yeah, so you don't need to give them a whole extra point just because they're a defenseman.
Exactly. And then for saves, we either keep this as normal or we set it to 5 for wins, -3 for loss. And then goals against are -1 and saves are 0.1. All right, so that's going to come to the end of this current segment. We do not need to go through all that process. However, I hope this was very informative for you that are looking to do fantasy hockey leagues yourself. And I hope that you pursue it and watch our next episodes. They will be in a playlist called Fantasy 101 on our page if you want to go and check that out. And we'll be going through all the other things like waiver ads and funny team names that you can go through and different drafting strategies, right? So if you want any more information, this is going to come to the end of this first one, but go check those out for more information. All right, this is Antonio and Owen signing out for this one.